So I've been using the 10th generation iPad for the past week, and I could easily say this is the weirdest Apple product of the year. First and foremost, it takes the first generation Apple Pencil in a new body design. Also, you have the webcam onto the landscape orientation. That's a big thumbs up. But on the iPad Pro series, it's on the portrait position. There's no flash on the rear. The display is not laminated, which means you're gonna see the gap between the screen and the glass, so the pixels is not close to the glass. But the real dumpster fire has to be that this starts at 64 gigabytes. 64 gigabytes in 2022 is not enough. And if I sound crazy, I am a little under the weather. I am a little sick because we're going through a climate change. So bear with me, guys. The show has to go on. So yeah, it is a bit. So yeah, although this is still a weird iPad, this is still an iPad. So which means it's still gonna be smooth. It's gonna be excellent for media consumption. It's gonna be excellent for gaming. So it's still a good iPad, but your money is good elsewhere. Here's why. The price. This is starting at $450. First iPad, that started at $499. So the fact that this is $50 cheaper is still a good buy. You know, this is way better than the first iPad. So from that perspective, it's not a bad deal. But compared to Apple's previous generation iPad, the iPad 9th generation, this is looking like a pretty big tax, I would say. Because that iPad, you could get it for $330, or even better yet, you could get it on Amazon for $299, which is a bargain, which I highly encourage you guys to search on Amazon for your iPads because you could get the best deals ever. I throw a link in the description, but if you're a person that wants the new iPad style with no home button, but you don't want to break the bank necessarily, that's where the iPad 10 comes into play. But $450, guys, by the time you turn around, if you search on Amazon, you can get an iPad Air, the previous generation iPad Air, for relatively the same price. And that's a way better deal because you get an Apple Pencil 2nd generation support, the Magic Keyboard, you get a better screen. It's the same screen size, but it's a better screen technology. It's just a better buy. But before you even buy the iPad Air, both the iPad 10 and the iPad Air starts at a measly 64 gigabytes, which is not enough in 2022. But by the time you spec this up to 256 gigabytes, you get the portfolio keyboard, you get the Apple Pencil 1 alongside with the adapter, you get it into iPad Pro territory. And that's the thing. You could get a certified refurbished iPad Pro, right? 2018 or later, and you could pretty much be on top of the food chain while paying the same price as this. Practically an 11-inch iPad Pro is a little bit cheaper compared to buying this new. And I made a full-blown video talking about Apple certified refurbished. Highly encourage you guys to watch that video. Not to say that this is going to be a terrible one, but the price that you're paying for this, if you do a little bit of research, you can get something that's a little bit better while spending a similar price, something that's better than this but at the same price or almost the same price tag. Even if you search up Amazon Renew, I made a video on that one too. So once you spec up the storage, add a cellular option, this could be very expensive. I also made a video if you should get an cellular iPad or not. Highly encourage you guys to check that one out. My favorite color by far has to be this yellow. This yellow one is absolutely insane. This is the best iPad color ever. Literally, don't add me on that. Some would say it's rose gold, some would say it's gold, but I like this iPad color so much. Not to say that the other colors are trash. I do like the blue one and I like the pink one. The silver one is playing it safe. It's still a clean, but the yellow one, man, the yellow one is my pick. Now, in terms of iPadOS 16, I can make this a separate video to be honest with you guys, but just to quickly summarize it, on the iPad 10, you're not getting Stage Manager on this, where you could be able to have multiple apps, you know, 4, 5, 6 apps running at the same time. You're not going to be able to do that on your base iPad, regardless of the A14 chip. It's a very underwhelming update. You're not going to be able to customize your lock screen. Yes, you have the weather app. You're still missing the calculator app, but nonetheless, it's an iPad. You know, essentially it's an iPad, and it's not a bad thing. The iPad is one of my favorite devices. I use my iPad mini every single day, laying down in bed, sitting down on the couch. I use my iPad mini a lot, and I use my iPad Pro for editing photos, using the reference mode to make sure the colors are good for these videos. So I love using the iPads. But at the end of the day, it's still an iPad. It's relatively going to be the same exact experience, very similar, minus obviously the Apple Pencil 2, minus ProMotion, minus the speakers. Yes, you have some missing features. I made a video this year actually reviewing the 2018 iPad Pro. That's the iPad to get. You know, I think I would argue that the iPad Pro 2018 is Apple's iPad 2. Remember those iPad 2s? You see them everywhere. And I feel like I have to cough, but I'm trying to hold it in. I gotta end out this video. That iPad is pretty much, you know, the speakers are good, the cameras are good. I would have loved to see a flash on this, because even if you're scanning documents, you know, having that little flash would help. But nonetheless, it's an iPad. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even bother to get the Magic Portfolio keyboard. It looks cool. I watched a couple of videos on it, but after using the Magic Keyboard, you know, you don't want to get nothing new again. You know what I mean? It would have been cool to see the Magic Keyboard support here alongside with Apple Pencil 2. Using your already old accessories that you just brought maybe 2 years ago, it would have been nice to have that supported, but nonetheless, Apple wants you to get new accessories for this. But I stumbled across Logitech. Logitech makes their own keyboard cases, and I've been using Logitech product for years. Not a sponsored video. I've been using the MX keys, the MX Master 3S. You know, they known for making great Apple accessories, and I think this one here is no exception. I didn't buy it, but I could tell you from experience that it's gonna be pretty good. Now, it's not to say that this is a bad buy. It's just something that you could do better. If you do your research, a little bit of research, you could get a fantastic iPad with all the bells and whistles for relatively about the same price as this. If not, maybe a couple of dollars more, you could get a better experience.